Nobody actually wants to declutter, so you want to make it easy, make it a habit, something that you're doing consistently, and it's just part of your routine. We all brush our teeth, so just make this another little habit that you do, and then make it fun, right? Nobody really likes that messy middle part, so try to make it fun, especially with your kids. Put on some good music, have a good time with it, because it's kind of boring, and you're not gonna get anybody on your team if you're like, it's time to declutter again.
Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I am your host, Joanne Crone, joined here by the lovely Bree Tucker.
Why, hello, everybody. How are you?
We got our red lips on and we are ready to roll today. Like
red lips, rock and roll, baby. Bam!
Like if you need a confidence boost, maybe we highly recommend red lips. They are the best confidence boost there is. In today's episode, when we first got on with our guest, both her and Bree were rocking red lips and I was not. And I had to grab my lipstick because I'm like, you know what? This is a vibe. We're just going to put it on and it's going to look fantastic. So life hack of the day.
Yeah, it was funny because like you gave her a compliment on that, and she's like, I've seen your guys' podcast, and so I felt like I had to bring it because you guys always bring the lip game, and I'm like, oh yeah,
it's the best thing. And I think one of our, I don't know if she's actually been a guest. No, she's been a guest. Erica Cartledge. Have we had her a guest on a podcast? Okay. Because she's been a frequent summit presenter and she's presenting for our No Guilt Mom retreat as well. She's one of our pre-sessions. And we'll have a link for those tickets in the show notes right here. But oh my goodness. You know what? Whenever you don't have time to get ready, all you need is to draw people's eyes where you want them to go. And by wearing a red lipstick, you're drawing people's eyes right there and you don't need anything else. So I'm like, yes. So props to Erica Cartledge for that.
Think about that. That is,
it's a good way to look put together without doing much.
It just works for me because I'm so pale.
Oh.
It gives you good contrast. I can't wear the light colors that people can wear because Bree has very little pigment.
Well, we want to first start out this episode by thanking you all because you listen to the No Guilt Mom podcast. You've made us a top 100 parenting podcast, and we cannot thank you enough.
That's the background music for it.
Yeah,
the horns.
Oh, you're doing the trumpets. That's trumpets. Got it.
Top 100.
I could not identify the musical instrument you were into.
You know, what can I say? I have so many.
You're so talented. You have so much musical diversity that you could imitate. Exactly. But thank you all so much. And we produce this podcast so that women everywhere know that they are not just there to serve their families. You are there to have a happy life. And actually, by going after the things that you want, by making yourself happy, by prioritizing yourself, that is how you be the best mom for your kids. So if you're thinking of putting yourself on the back burner today, just remember that. And please, if we could ask you, just share the No Guilt Mom podcast with a friend. Share it with your hairstylist. Share it with the woman checking you out at the supermarket. Just share it with everybody.
Share it with your best friend that you haven't talked to since college, who's a mom now. Talking to you, Jessica. You know it. You know it.
The more that we can get this message out, the more women we affect. And I believe that this is completely world changing. So thank you again. Which brings us to our guest today. We hear so often in our balance community from you listening that decluttering's hard. Like decluttering is usually one of the goals we hear about the most.
Yes.
Because let's face it, it's not fun. Decluttering, not a fun use of time.
You want to be there. Yeah, you want to be at the end, but getting there is a rough path. It really is.
It is. It's totally rough. So today we have a 15-minute solution for you that our guest Deanna Yates, who's the founder of Wannabe Clutter, and she's the host of the Wannabe Clutter podcast and the creator of the Chaos to Calm Summit series. She helps families ditch the clutter weighing them down so they can stop spending all of their time managing their home and more time enjoying it with the people who live there. You are going to so enjoy this episode because you're going to get some actionable tips that you can take right away. So without any further ado, let us welcome our guest, Deanna Yates.
You want mom life, to be easier. That's our goal too. Our mission is to raise more self-sufficient and independent kids, and we're going to have fun doing it. We're going to help you delegate and step back. Each episode will tackle strategies for positive discipline, making our kids more responsible and making our lives better in the process. Welcome to the No Guilt Mom Podcast.
So casual and we just get to chat. But
so the makeup game started from dance competition from our second grade daughters.
Yeah. And I would say I learned all of my makeup from dance makeup because they make you watch these YouTube tutorials and they have specific things that you're supposed to buy. Like the place that my daughter went to dance after Bree's daughter stepped out of dance, this place was like, you went to the MAC counter and you had your list of stuff you had to get because there were team colors that you had to get. And like Ruby Woo lipstick with Ruby Woo lip liner with bronzer with this sparkly eyeshadow I steal now, which is
I don't
gorgeous.
even own MAC. Oh my God.
No, it was all MAC colors or Morphe. That's how I got into Morphe too, because
that's new.
The quality of the makeup actually makes a difference. It does. It makes a difference. Yeah. I was always like, no drugstore makeup, but then you put this stuff on, you're like, what? Oh my gosh, the color's there? What? It doesn't rub off. It's amazing.
I need to go back. I was so much nicer to myself when I was 16 and in cheer and bought all MAC makeup for myself, right? I mean, come on. And now I am, I'm still at CVS.
Well, it looks gorgeous.
That's the story of us as moms. I would go and buy the MAC for my daughter. Okay, so as a matter of fact, stuff coming up. Okay, I'll go pay for you to get your makeup done. But would I ever pay to get my makeup done? No. I'm like, YouTube tutorials are good enough for me. Even though, wait, what was that one makeup, Joanne, that you got some makeup and we had to do a color match, and the color didn't match you, so you gave it to me. And then I tried.
Oh,
I forget the brand.
Online, I was trying.
Yeah, it's still pretty big. It pops up on my stuff all the time, El Mercard or something like that. I don't know, and I can never get the color to match. So
this is something we need to change. I think both of you need action step right now, because as you see, I took out my lipstick to put on right before this, and look at what it is. It is MAC. It is MAC lipstick. Only the best for you. Only the best.
My thing is, though, it can't be rub. When you're wearing red, it can't rub off. And
I do have that issue.
And that's because, and trust me, I have searched. There are very few brands that have non-smudge red lipstick. It's almost like they just want you to kiss everything and leave your trail of red. So
it's true.
I don't know.
It's true.
It's crazy.
So in getting all of this extra makeup, Deanna, and talking about clutter, here I am being get the best. No, I think it really does have to do with cluttering, because decluttering. I was listening to your podcast this morning about decision fatigue and decluttering, and I know it's something that so many women struggle with, especially when we're talking here about the, wanting to buy the cheap stuff for us and wanting to buy the expensive stuff for our kids. I'm interested, Deanna, what are your thoughts on that when you're talking about minimalism and no clutter and yet having good things? Do you go for quality over quantity?
I definitely try. It is, yes. I mean, it's always one of those things that I aspire to do, right? So I definitely will try to do that. And I like to try to find things that I like. So it doesn't necessarily, to me, if I like something that is an off-brand, I'm okay with that. As long as it's something that I do truly like. If it's the best brand and it is what I like, then fantastic. But my mascara, I just buy the L'Oreal mascara. I read somewhere that it is the same. It's almost the same formula as a super expensive one. I'm terrible with brand names. Anyway, but I've read somewhere that it's very similar. And so I'm just why would I pay the $40 markup on something that is somewhat similar just for the name, or maybe a cooler case to bring it out of? Sometimes it's worth it if you're it is worth it. Sometimes it totally is. If you're okay, no, but this just gives me that little and makes you feel better. That's totally, hands down, go for it. But yeah, definitely quality over quantity and just keeping the number of things you need, right? So my makeup bag is very small. I have my foundation, I have my eyeshadow little palette. I have some cream blush and lipstick. I mean, and the mascara. If I only put one thing on, it's a mascara. That is for me. But I didn't even know we were getting into makeup. I am not the person to follow if you want makeup tips. Just anybody listening.
Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast.
It's a
where we are on squirrels all the
Yeah.
time.
I was gonna say it's a squirrel. It's trust me. Yeah, neither of us are giving out makeup tips anytime soon.
No, we're not.
Well, I'm an open book, so this will be fun. We can get into whatever you want to talk about, but I did want to put that out there. Go follow someone else for makeup advice. But if you want, like, hey, you don't have to have it all, you can buy the few things you want, then great. And honestly, you're right. I should upgrade those 5 things I just mentioned because that's not going to cost me that much for those 5 things. I luckily haven't gotten into the crazy dance world. Our daughter does musicals, but they're only through school. So it's just wear the makeup, but we don't tell you what brand or what color.
Yeah.
So she's still wearing drugstore makeup too. So
I don't recommend the crazy dance world. Like, we are not in it anymore, but I have stories. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They used to get in trouble if they had any wispies. And so now it's like wispies is a bad word because wispies are, those things when you
bring up
have
trauma.
little baby hair.
You're like,
Trauma.
dear God, no, not the wispies. No.
trauma with the wispies. Absolutely. But so many people have trouble with clutter. And as I was listening to your episode this morning, it was about decision fatigue, the one I was listening to. And I was reminded of all of those news articles that, like, you've seen in the press about, I just remember Obama being an example. There was an article about him saying how he had the same suit he wore every single day. And it eliminated the need to make decisions and to use that part of their brain so that they can make better decisions he was a world leader. So he can make world leader decisions. And I think this has so much to do with moms as well, because we too are suffering under the decision fatigue.
So much. Okay, wait, I have to share with this because this just happened to me last night. Just last night, my daughter she has a job that's in downtown Gilbert. So it's this little area, lots of restaurants, whatever. And I said to my husband, we don't have any kids tonight. We should go out to eat. And he goes, oh yeah, I got a plan. And I'm like, great. This is 2 hours beforehand. We get downtown, we park, drop her off at work. And I turned to him and go, like, where are we going? And he goes, well, we've got choices. And I went, whoa, I'm going to stop you right there. You said you had a plan. Bree's decision-making is done for the day. So whatever it is, you figure it out here in the next 5 seconds as we walk out of this parking garage. She's got it.
Yeah.
But right? Like,
It's a big thing.
just
it's a
the
big
idea
thing.
of one more choice. I was like, oh, heck no. I'm done.
Yeah.
And with clutter, Deanna, like, so many women like go home and I swear I hear the goal all the time. I'm going to declutter. I'm going to declutter. I'm going to declutter. And it never, ever happens. So what I really want to focus on with you is like those steps that people can take to start decluttering, even if they've said they would declutter for the past like 30 days and haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
So like thinking about how to get this started. So what do you recommend doing first when you're talking about getting your clutter under control?
Well, first and foremost, understand that it's not going to happen overnight. I think we all make these goals all the time, whether it's to declutter, lose weight, make friends, better our relationships, whatever. And we just automatically go from, I've never done this thing, or I haven't done this in a very long time, to I'm going to be perfect at it.
Right. Oh my gosh. It's so all or nothing for sure.
Right. So all or nothing. So first, let's ditch that. Just stop right now and just say, okay, small changes. Small changes are going to make a difference. And if you do them consistently, and consistently doesn't have to mean every day, right? Mm-hmm. I think that also can derail people. They think if I start this thing and I mess up one day, I go, forget it, throw in the towel. This is it. I'm done. I failed. I'm never going to be able, gosh, what a failure, right? And you just start talking so meanly to yourself.
Yeah. I think you're speaking to so many people in our audience right now. Yes.
Yeah. So you just need to say, okay, well, I messed up today. Or say, like, I'm going to give myself 2 passes this week. right? I'm going to try to declutter for 5 minutes a day. And if I have a day where I'm just like, oh, I just can't do it, or I've already done too much, or something happens, your kid gets sick, they end up, they need to go to the ER because they break a finger or whatever, right? You never know. As moms, we just never know what's going to come our way. Anything can happen. So I think if you give yourself 2 passes, like I have 2 passes a week, and if I have to use them, great. And if I don't, well, fantastic. Bonus for me, maybe I reward myself with some MAC lipstick or, a coffee with a friend or whatever it is that you are looking for that really would make you feel great about yourself. So
ditch the all or nothing.
Ditch all or nothing
and give those 2 passes to yourself. I think that those are great suggestions. And I cannot wait to hear more of your suggestions right after this.
If you've been with us for a while, you've heard me talk about my dog, Max. He's more than just my pet. He is my little lifesaver. Max joined us unexpectedly 9 years ago, and since he trotted his little furry butt into our family's life, he has been my constant companion. He's been with me through my divorce, my remarriage, our 3 different homes that we've been living in, the times where I've been too sick and could not get out of bed. He stayed by my side. And then there were the times when we were having so much fun and laughing so hard that his zoomies started and seemed to go on literally forever. I honestly don't know what I would do without him. He is my best furry friend. And if you are getting a new pet soon, that means that you need to be thinking about all the things you need to get for them, like food, toys, a bed. And something else you may not be thinking about is pet insurance. That is why you should check out ASPCA Pet Health Insurance.
The ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program offers customizable accident and illness plans, making it easier for pet parents like you to help your pet get the care that they may need. They allow you to customize your plan, helping ensure that your pet's plan is as unique as they are.
The ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program has been around for over 18 years, and they have helped more than 600,000 pets during that time, because vet bills can really add up, especially when you're least expecting it. It's simple. Just go use their app to submit a claim, and you'll receive your reimbursement for eligible vet bills directly into your bank account.
To explore coverage, visit aspcapetinsurance.com/no-guilt. That's aspcapetinsurance.com/no-guilt. Again, that's aspcapetinsurance.com/no-guilt. This is a paid advertisement. Insurance is underwritten by either Independence American Insurance Company or United States Fire Insurance Company and produced by PTZ Insurance Agency Limited. The ASPCA is not an insurer and is not engaged in the business of insurance.
When it comes to raising kids, there's so much to consider. Things like, what do we feed them? When do we feed them? How do they sleep? What does it look like to raise kind kids? How does their nervous system work? How do I keep myself calm? What are my triggers? There's so much that comes into play, and we are distilling all of that information for you at Voices of Your Village podcast, where we bring experts in the field of early childhood and education and psychology and across the board so that you don't have to comb the internet for information. You get to show up and hang out and have shame-free, judgment-free conversations and insights into what it looks like to raise kind, empathetic, emotionally intelligent humans. I'm Alyssa Blask Campbell. I have a master's degree in early childhood education. I'm a mom of 2, and I am walking this journey right alongside you doing this work. Come hang out with me at Voices of Your Village, and we can dive into real conversations with actionable tips.
So Deanna, you told us, ditching the all or nothing mentality, giving yourself some passes. Like, what else when we're just struggling to start this decluttering process?
All right, let's get into the actual decluttering, right? Because those 2 things I just told you were more like mental, okay, this is great, but this isn't actually helping me, right? I'm not actually seeing anything happen here. So let's pick one place to start. Now, people will tell you all sorts of different places to start. Some people tell you to start in your bathroom because you're getting ready in there every day. Some people will tell you to start in your entryway. Some people tell you to start in your bedroom. It's personal. Like, you have to decide where you want to start. And my favorite place to tell you is, where are you the most frustrated? Let's just start to get that off your plate, right? Let's start to make your life better. Because I think a lot of people think declutter and they go, oh, let's start in the garage.
Oh yeah. It's usually the most cluttered place in the entire house. That's where you stick everything when you have no idea where to put it.
Right. So tell me, how is that going to help you tomorrow morning when you're trying to get out the door?
It's
I've
true.
decluttered
It's
my
true.
garage no less than 3 times this year. And it's okay. It's going to be messed up.
Sorry, Brie. Sorry.
It's like little gremlins. I go to bed and next day I'm like, what the hell? Where did these 5 potted plants come from? And you guys know where.
Miguel, we know.
Miguel.
But yes, you're right. Garage just seems like
Yeah.
it's a recipe for disaster.
Oh
Well,
my gosh.
it's
When I think about
one-
my house, I'm like, oh, it's this office. If you could see around, I just have stacks places just because I'm like, oh, my
Totally.
desk is clean, but look, there's a stack over here where everything went.
Yeah. And it's okay. Like we all have our coping mechanisms, and I don't want us to get down on ourselves, and I don't want you to feel bad if you've done your garage, and I don't want you to feel bad about your stacks. But what is going to help you tomorrow? If getting out of the house in the morning with your kids is a struggle, what's one thing you can do? Maybe it is talking about decision fatigue, and this isn't even clutter, right? But just saying, okay, here are the 3 things that we can make for lunch consistently that are easy and I don't have to think about it. And they're just my go-tos. We actually we have 3, I guess, in our house that we go to. And now, are they the most nutritious? No. But does she get some veggies and some fruit? Yes.
Which is what matters. It is what matters.
Exactly.
You do not have to make things homemade. Nothing has
We have
to
a
be
whole
like
other
totally
episode
fresh.
about that rant. So.
Whole thing, yes.
All right, we'll link to that one for sure. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, how can this be easy, right? We have one lunchbox. So talking about clutter and quality, like I only have one child, so we'll just go ahead and put that out there. I guess the running joke is like we even minimalized ourselves and how many kids we had. But we only have one lunchbox. She has one. We wash that one. I don't want to have 5 that I have to deal with the missing things and the things are broken or whatever. If it breaks, we replace it. So that helps cut down on clutter. It also is, hey, you got to remember to get that out of your backpack, because if you don't, you're not going to have lunch tomorrow. You're going to have to eat the crappy lunch at school that you don't like because your lunchbox isn't clean. So it helps teach her responsibility on that end too. So that's a way to kind of start cutting down on that clutter. My favorite though, let's just talk about how to actually declutter the stuff. Set your timer for 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be a lot of time, right? I think that's another thing we think, oh, it's going to take all day. Pick one tiny area. So maybe it is a drawer in the kitchen. Maybe it's your entryway, like where you put your shoes and your stuff when you come in. Set your timer for 15 minutes, put on some good music, and you need 3 things. You need a trash bag, you need a donation box, and you need a bin to put things that go elsewhere in your house. That's it. So
I like that bin idea, because that's usually where I get hung up on, because you take that 15 minutes and you're like, oh, this belongs in my bedroom. And you like run it to your bedroom, and then you don't see very much progress in that 15 minutes because you're running everywhere.
It's great if you get interrupted. Like the way you're doing it is fantastic if you get interrupted, like something happens and you can't finish your 15 minutes. But even with the bin, you've already got it in a place that you can just pick it up and you can put it off to the side if your kids interrupt you, if you have little kids, right? Or if you need to take care of something else. But it is so nice because then at the end of the 15 minutes, you just take that and you go around your house and you can put all the stuff away. Take a box, like everyone has an Amazon box in their house right now. Grab your Amazon box, put the donation stuff in there, and then in 15 minutes, you put it in your car. You get it out of the space. Yeah. That's another thing people struggle with is the stuff shifting.
Yeah, it sits. It's like musical chairs in my house of where the boxes of crap go. Oh, I'm going to put it in my office in this corner for a little while. Then it's going to go in the kitchen for a little while. Now it's going to go in the living room for a little while.
As I look around my office and I'm like, that's what's happening. That's what's happening in this place right now.
I move it out of the line of sight for a little while. And then I get mad at myself for not having just done the taking it to wherever it was that it needed to go.
I think that's a killer tip. Put it in the car right away so that you're driving by Goodwill, you can just drop by. Now, I want to know something, because I know a lot of people think this way. I live with somebody who thinks this way, who sees like a project and they're like, well, I know when I start the project, I'm going to want to like finish the project to completion. Like it has to be done. So I don't want to start something and only spend 15 minutes on it, not to have it finished. What do you say about people who have that sort of pushback against this?
That's why you start super small. So I didn't say do your whole kitchen. I did one drawer in your kitchen.
Oh, okay.
So as you start to make the area you're decluttering smaller and smaller, you are able to finish that project, right? Maybe it's your utility drawer. I don't use junk drawer because that encourages people to leave junk in there. So it's your utility drawer, right? The stuff in there is useful. Don't put the things that you're like, later you're decluttering and you're just like, why did I keep this? Right? Just let it go in the first place. And then a little bit of tough love for people. I know a lot of people get hung up on throwing things away and the landfill and all that kind of stuff. Once it comes into your house, its eventuality is going to be that it ends up in the landfill, right? Eventually, it all turns into garbage. So obviously, let's be responsible. Let's recycle when we can. Let's donate when we can. I love my local Buy Nothing group because sometimes something's not quite ready to donate or like it's not good enough to donate. Like I don't feel like wherever the charity shop I give it to would really want this thing or be able to sell it. But someone on my Buy Nothing group can figure out how to make it work again. I had a coffee maker I gave away that wasn't working for me. And whatever I did, I just could not get it to work. But I put it on my Buy Nothing group with the full disclosure that I can't get it to work, but maybe you can. Some woman came, she's like, oh, I've got a son that loves to take things apart and make them work. So she came and picked it up and reported back to me, yeah, he got it working and we love it and blah, blah, blah.
I love the idea of a Buy Nothing group.
I forgot about those.
Yeah. I'm going to search for those in my area. Do you know if there's any in Phoenix, Bree?
Yeah.
Have you seen
Yeah,
anything?
I'm in a few. I'll invite you to a few of them. Yeah, they're mainly, well, most of my Buy Nothing groups are like mainly for like parents type stuff. So like I might have to expand my search, but I think I have a few still. So yes, I will invite you to them on my Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, because I am one of those people who like, I feel bad giving it to the charity because it's not good quality.
Yeah.
And I feel bad throwing it away. So we just feel bad.
Totally.
I guess maybe we need to work on that one.
Yeah. Speaking of no guilt.
Yeah. It comes back to that mentality you were talking about. It's just the whole, like, if I can't do it right, then what am I even
do
doing?
it at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's a mentality that so many people struggle with when it comes to cluttering. So I'm interested to hear the other tips you have for people right after this, Deanna.
No one told us the truth about parenthood. Why? This is the podcast everyone needed before they had kids because now that those little ones are here, there is a lot to unpack. I'm Rachel Shepardota, and I am your host for the podcast No One Told Us, where we tell the truth about parenting and let you in on all the stuff you really should have known about before having kids. I am the founder of Hey Sleepy Baby, but this podcast is so much more than sleep. We'll be diving into all the topics that you really care about and need to know while you do your best job raising those adorable, tiny humans. Our goal is to just make you feel less alone and less overwhelmed. There are so many things that no one tells us before becoming a parent, and I think that we should really pull back the curtain on becoming a first-time or second-time mom or dad to share the good, the bad, and the ugly. We'll have a little education, a little fun, and a whole lot of heart that goes into each and every episode. So join me and our amazing guests each week to hear us talk about what no one told us.
I'm Margaret.
And I'm Amy.
And together we host the podcast, What Fresh Hell? Laughing in the Face of Motherhood.
Margaret, I would say you're sort of a where are my keys kind of mom.
Correct. Sometimes a where are my kids kind of mom. Well, you're, Amy, more of a we were supposed to leave 35 seconds ago, mom.
I mean, touche. In each episode of What Fresh Hell, we come at a topic from our usually completely opposite perspectives. I bring the research.
And I bring kind of the gimlet eye. Like, is that research really going to work, people?
And almost 10 million downloads later, we're still laughing.
We also talk to experts in the parenting field, plus parents with stories we can all learn from.
We make each other laugh, we challenge each other's assumptions, and we have what we think is the best parenting community on the internet.
Check out What Fresh Hell? Laughing in the Face of Motherhood wherever you listen to podcasts.
So welcome back. And Deanna, ending out this episode, I really want people to come away from this feeling like they can tackle this decluttering situation in their own homes. We've talked already about making it small, giving yourself a free pass if you don't do it perfectly, making the time commitment very small as well. What else do you want to leave people with when they're doing this decluttering process?
Make it part of a habit, right? And make it fun. Like just kind of make it second nature. That's one of the things that has really helped us, especially I talked about this on that decision fatigue episode of if it's already the expectation, it's just so much easier for it to get done, right? If you just expect that when A happens, B is going to happen. So we have a very set bedtime, routine. Our daughter's 10 and she still has a very set bedtime, that she has to follow because we're all happier when she gets sleep and when we get some time, right? So it's when the clock strikes this, you get ready for bed kind of a thing. And of course, there's ebbs and flows and slight variations, but for the most part, 95% of the time, that is how it works. So same with decluttering. We do a 5-minute tidy up every night. So if I'm not having to do a 15-minute declutter, every night between dinner and the show we watch or game we play, we take 5 minutes as a family and we clean up together. So my husband will generally do the dishes. I generally do the cooking. And then my daughter and I race around to clean up around the house. And this is where these bins come into play too, right? You take the laundry basket and throw everything you can in it and then go race and put it away. And what happens is, I know that's not quite like decluttering, but cleaning up your house is so nice. Like, it's nice to have that clean space. And as you start to do that, you will start to find, oh, I keep putting this same thing away every night. And I struggle to put it away on the shelf because there's all this other stuff on this shelf that is, I'm never putting that away. That never comes off the shelf. So maybe I should get rid of that stuff so that it's easier for this stuff to go back on the shelf. Like, all these little mindsets will start to happen. So you want to make it easy, make it a habit, do it something that you're doing consistently. And it's just part of your routine. We all brush our teeth. So just make this another little habit that you do, and then make it fun, right? Nobody actually wants to declutter. Even someone that claims to be a professional declutterer, nobody really likes that messy middle part. Nobody likes to be faced with those really hard decisions of oh God, why did I buy this thing? And having that moment of I don't feel so great, or you're decluttering clothes that don't fit anymore and that doesn't feel so great, or different things in your past that come up, and just sometimes it's hard. So try to make it fun, especially with your kids. So if you're decluttering towels, make it a game to see who can actually throw the towels into the declutter bin, right? Just have things that are fun. Put on some good music, laugh about the things. If you find clothes that are funny, model them for your family and be like, hey, look at this thing I used to have. Just have a good time with it, because it's kind of boring, and you're not going to get anybody on your team if you're it's time to declutter.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's bring the
come on. It's spring. I've so many of us, I think, still have trauma from the phrase spring cleaning, right? Let's do a deep spring clean.
No, we're
let's
all
not.
Sick. Yeah, I love the music idea. We use the music idea over here, and it always peps us up.
Yeah.
Deanna, this has been wonderful. You've given such actionable tips. I mean, I think The Office is getting tackled right after this. You have a podcast too. Yeah. Tell us about that and where people can find you there.
Yeah. So the podcast is called Wannabe Clutter Free. It's all about this kind of stuff. I'm a very actionable kind of girl, and I have lots of guests on the show as well, sharing their tips and just experience with either minimalism or living with less. We do a lot with all sorts of decluttering, different areas in your home. So I would absolutely love for people to come over and join me over there. And then if they want, I'm at Wannabe Clutter Free on all the social channels. You can't miss me.
Awesome.
I love it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, sounds great. Bye.
So I had an epiphany in that episode. Deanna's talking about at the end, about how you're cleaning up and you find this, I don't know, we'll say a blanket. You find this blanket and you keep not putting away the blanket, and you ask yourself, why am I not putting away the blanket? Well, because it goes back next to this shelf, and the shelf is always cluttered because nothing comes off of the shelf because it's full of random crap I don't need. And I am if anybody watches the video, you can see the moment where the light bulb goes off in my head and I go, what? I have that shelf. I know exactly what shelf that is. It is in my dining room. And you know what's even worse, Joanne? The shelf doesn't even match the house. It came from my ex-in-laws gave me that shelf years ago. It doesn't match anything in my house. And it's there.
That shelf just needs to go.
It does. It's full of stuff I don't use. Well, they were very nice, very sweet. It's a nice shelf. I didn't have anything else, so I kept the shelf. But now it's like this eyesore about clutter because it does nothing but collect dust because it has nothing but knickknacks on it that nobody cares about anymore. It was I don't know where else to put it, so I'm going to stick it over there.
Yeah, you have the shelf she was talking about, for
Oh
sure.
my God. Yes, I do. And I need to go through and just let myself have that permission that I don't need to hang on to it.
I have a windowsill that is doing that same duty.
Right?
I need to clean that thing off. You know what is on my windowsill that's driving me crazy? I bought this murder mystery series, and I can't remember. I was really Hunt a Killer. To Hunt a Killer.
Okay.
And it was a box set, so it was like 5 things. It was class of '98, and they were having a reunion, and somebody died, and you have to figure out who killed them and why. And
Is it
so
like a
it's
dinner
like,
party thing? Is that what that is? It's like
No,
a
it's
game
like-
you play with a bunch of people?
It's a game you could play by yourself or with people. I mean, honestly,
Okay.
what attracted me to it is somebody like spread out all of the items, spread out around them, drinking a glass of wine. And I'm like, that looks fun.
Oh.
So I've gone through 5 out of the 6 boxes. And there's
Oh,
one
wow.
box left. I'm going to find the killer and then I can get rid of it. But have I done it yet? No, it needs to get off my shelf so that I can clean it off.
To go on your calendar. You need to put it on
my
your calendar that it's going to happen.
Put it on my calendar with a nice glass of red wine. That sounds like a good night. Yeah.
It does.
That'd be
You
great.
deserve that. Like, you honestly deserve a date with yourself to do that.
I do take that time. Sometimes I put it out in front of me and my kids are like, Mom, that's boring. I'm like, well, okay. And then they leave.
And then you're like, and yet you're going to go watch YouTube for 3 hours and watch another
Yes.
kid play a video game. And that is fun? I don't understand our youth. I don't. I have turned into my parents. Like, I am that insurance commercial where like the guys, you don't have to turn into your parents. Like when you buy a house kind of thing. Like I have turned into that. Like I'm out walking my dog in my neighborhood. Someone comes zipping down the street and I'll be like, slow down. There are kids.
Oh, you have. Oh, wait. Well, I do that all the time anyways. That pisses me off if people are going too fast around kids.
I'm just saying, I have definitely embraced that older persona.
I get the YouTube thing. I mean, they show me some stuff that I wouldn't even know of. I mean, I was having a great conversation about Mr. Beast and everything, and people around me are like, "What, Mr. Beast?" I'm like, "Yeah, I watch the videos when my son watches the videos because I want to know what he's doing." And I could go off on my Mr. Beast tangent right now. I think he's a genius. I love Mr. Beast. He does so many things that are so good that everyone who is a creator can really learn from. His videos are top notch. The way he uses storytelling as well as climaxes and oh my gosh, he's amazing. He's amazing. So I
feel like I'm going to have to add a link. Am I going to have to add a link to this?
Mr. Beast is huge, and he has his own candy company, Feastables. Like he's pretty amazing. So, but they've turned me on to all of that stuff, and we do it to our kids too. Last night we watched the Trevor Noah comedy special on Netflix with them, and they didn't get everything, thankfully.
Yeah.
But they got a lot, especially my 15-year-old, and she really enjoys him. It's funny though, you know, the reason she enjoys him is because every comedian makes fun of Taylor Swift in some way, you know, whenever there's a music show or anything. But Trevor Noah did it really nicely, and his was actually funny, according to her. Yeah. So and he was. I love Trevor Noah. He's a wonderful comedian.
Oh,
so,
that's awesome. I do. I'm so sad that he left the Daily Show. Like I loved that. I loved having him on there. But
the
I also
Netflix
miss
special
Jon
is real
Stewart.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jon Stewart's on there now.
I
You
know.
Jon
That's why I was
Stewart's part
like,
of the Daily Show,
yeah. I'm like, but I love Jon Stewart, so I'm glad that he came back and at least does Mondays. Like, but again, I feel like I'm showing my age here. If people don't know, Bree's creeping up on the mid 40s.
It's all about familiarity. It's all about familiarity.
Yeah. I like things I'm familiar with for sure. So I am motivated to go through and do some. So like I also was thinking while Deanna was talking about this whole thing, my room is my kitchen. Like I don't have a, you know, this, like my house, my kitchen is not huge. So I definitely think if I could cut it into sections, like she said, I'm just going to do the drawers. Like just the drawers. And then one day I will just do one pots and pan cabinet and then another pots and pan cabinet. Because that's where I get frustrated and where I feel like my kitchen is cluttered. That and the plants that are everywhere.
Yeah.
I love you, Miguel. I love you. But dude, you got to stop buying plants until we can figure this out.
He has a plants addiction.
There are plants everywhere. Everywhere.
Well, we want to hear the decluttering action that you take as a result on this episode. Can you go on Instagram? Just DM me. We are at @NoGuiltMom. Just DM me. Say like, hey, I decluttered my blank. That's it. That's all you need to do, because we love hearing from you, and we love hearing any ideas or any wins that you have. We might even shout you out on a future podcast. But
we will shout you out. Yes,
if you don't like that kind of thing, you could say, don't shout me out, Joanne, and I will not do it. So we just want to hear from you.
Tell us what you did. Tell us shout out, and you will be on our next podcast episode. And then you'll figure out how we do our scheduling.
But some people don't like to say they want a shout out. Like, I wouldn't be one of those people. I would be like, here's what I did. And I would desperately hope for a shout out. But then like, I wouldn't ever ask for a shout out. Do you know what I mean? I would feel that would be like too presumptuous. So,
but we're giving you permission to tell us if you want one. But I do hear you on the whole, but I wouldn't. Oh, that would totally be my daughter. My daughter would be like, oh my God, that's so embarrassing.
Yeah, but then love it. She'd love it if she did it.
Yeah.
So shout out to you, Audrey. You're amazing.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to make her listen to this episode. All right.
Okay. Until next time, remember, the best mom's a happy mom. Take care of you. We'll talk to you later.
And thanks for stopping by.
Hey there, I'm Debbie Reber, the founder of Tilt Parenting and the author of the book Differently Wired. The mission of Tilt is to change the way neurodivergence, whether that's having a learning disability, having ADHD, being gifted, autistic, or some combination of all of the above, is perceived and experienced so differently wired kids and the parents like us raising them can truly thrive. On the Tilt Parenting podcast, I get to talk with authors, therapists, educators, and parenting experts who are committed to this mission. I ask the questions my listeners are most curious about when it comes to supporting our kids. And in turn, my guests share strategies for challenges, out-of-the-box ideas for navigating school, best practices for therapies, tips for advocating, and so many thoughtful insights on what it really takes to help our kids grow up feeling seen and respected so they can create awesome lives for themselves. I know that raising a differently wired kid can feel overwhelming and isolating, but I promise you, you are not alone, and it can feel so much better. If you're on this parenting journey, come listen to Tilt Parenting. Together, we can shift this paradigm and show up for our exceptional kids with hope, possibility, and joy.